All right, so hello everyone. Today, I would like to talk about strategies for withdrawing money from your retirement accounts before the traditional retirement age without getting hit by penalties. So normally, let me see, you'd have to wait until age 59 and a half to access your IRA or 401k. Otherwise, you'll pay a 10% early withdrawal penalty on top of the regular taxes. And because of this, many people, especially entrepreneurs and early retirement planners, believe that they shouldn't use retirement accounts at all. They think, oh, I want flexibility, so I'll use a taxable brokerage. I don't want to wait till I'm 59 and a half to retire and access that money. But that's a misconception. It's a mistake. By skipping tax-advantaged retirement accounts, they end up paying unnecessary taxes every year on dividends, interest, and capital gains, which is what you get taxed on every retirement accounts, you get taxed only once. And taxable brokerage accounts, you get taxed three times. So you definitely want to avoid or delay these taxes completely. So even if you plan to retire or reach financial freedom early, I can't think of a single good reason not to invest in a retirement account first before you invest in anything else. Now, these accounts are incredibly powerful and there are legal, proven ways to access the money early when the time comes. That being said, I want to I want to caution you guys against accessing this money early. This money saved for retirement should be mentally off limits until you truly have enough to retire. Early withdrawal should be your last resort. I know there are ways to get money out, like you can pull $10,000 out for your first home, or if you have a medical emergency, but pretend that money doesn't exist. I mean, if you didn't have that money, what would you do? You'd figure it out, right? You'd use your emergency fund, you'd do something else. Do that. Don't touch your money, your retirement money, until you're ready to retire. Don't rely on these funds for emergencies or short-term needs. Keep a separate emergency fund for that. Now, let's go over legitimate penalty-free ways to tap your retirement funds early. So the first one, and this isn't very well known, but if you work at like a corporate job, they'll allow you to, and you retire at 55, they'll allow you to start, the government allows you to start pulling penalty-free 401k withdrawals. Like any other, traditional 401k, you will have to pay taxes, but you won't get hit by that 10% early penalty, right? The next one is and this is only for a 401k. It's not for like IRAs or anything like this. It's just your corporate 401k. The next one is SEPP, which is Rule 72T of the IRS tax code. And SEPP stands for Substantially Equal Periodic Payments, and it allows penalty-free withdrawals before 59 and a half if you commit to taking the same payment amount every year until that age. Now, this is technical and it's easy to get wrong. So make sure you fully understand the IRS rules before starting the strategy. If you do it wrong, the IRS will penalize you. So I'm not going to go into this. If this is something of interest to you, you can look up the rules. It's on the IRS website. I just want to make you guys aware that this is possible to just pull money from your 401k, right? And I think also from your IRA, but I'm not sure. I haven't really done research into this because it's so possible to, it's so you can get it wrong. So I wouldn't recommend this one, but it's available for you if you need it, right? Next, something that you should be aware of is, and this is something that early retirees often use, you can withdraw your Roth IRA contributions, but not your earnings, just your contributions anytime without taxes or penalties. So, for example, let's say you contributed $5,000 to your Roth IRA this year and it grew to $5,500. You can withdraw that original $5,000 at any point, no problem. So you can withdraw it this year, you can withdraw it in 10 years before age 59 and a half. So like, let's say you're doing $5,000 a year or currently $7,000 a year if you're under age 50 and 8,000 if you're over age 50. And then next year it's going to be 7,500 and 8,500. If you contribute that amount in the future before age 59 and a half, you can pull those $7,000, the $7,500 at any time. So that's a strategy that many early retirees use. It's great for bridging the early retirement years. Many early retirees use these funds to cover expenses while waiting for conversion ladders to season. And that brings me to the Roth conversion ladder. And this is the main strategy, and this is my favorite. This is the one the meat and bones of this lesson is the Roth conversion ladder. And so this is how it works. So let's say you're ready to retire, right? Let's say you're about to retire in 5 years or whatever. You would first roll your traditional 401k, a portion of your traditional 401k, into a traditional IRA. So let's assume you need, I don't know, let's assume you have $2 million, right? Saved up. You've been investing since your 20s. You're now 40. You have $2 million saved up in your 401k and your Roth IRA or traditional IRA or whatever, and you need $100,000 a year. All right. So what you would do is you would roll $100,000 from your 401k, your traditional 401k, into a traditional IRA, and there's no taxes because it's just going from traditional to traditional. And then immediately you would convert that money each year from traditional to a Roth IRA, and you can do that right away, right? You'll pay income tax on the converted amount, but once that is converted, it's completely tax-free. So, and then you would wait 5 years, and then after that, you can withdraw that 100,000 that you converted, tax and penalty free. So, definitely a 401k is a way to go. Anyone who says that 401k is a scam is trying to sell you life insurance, and not just regular life insurance. They're trying to sell you really crappy, expensive whole life or IUL policies, which I believe you should avoid completely, because the only people that benefit, other than people with like tens of millions of dollars or who have a very closely held business where it benefits them, are the salesmen. So if someone comes up to you selling an IUL or says that 401ks are a scam or talks about infinite banking or talks about any of this nonsense that sounds complex, it's because it is complex, and they will uncomplicate it for you for a fee. So I would avoid any kind of insurance with an investment component completely. So insurance and investments do not mix. That is what I say, right? 401ks, IRAs are the way to go, are the number one thing to build wealth, right? So anyway, after 5 years, you can withdraw those conversions tax and penalty free, right? So here's an example. Like I said, you're age 40, you retire at age 45. You might convert that 100,000 for 5 years, and then at 45 you begin withdrawing the first year funds tax free, and then continue that annually. And then you do that until the 401k is depleted. So this is a very good way to retire, access the money and retire early. And so during those 5 years, you can either live off the savings you have or your prior Roth IRA contributions. Remember, I said those can be pulled out at any time without penalty or tax, right? Or you can just continue working. So, one of those ways. So there's ways around it. But the main point of this is that you should not avoid retirement accounts because they are golden. Um, so before I continue with this, I just want to clarify traditional and Roth. So traditional and Roth are tax treatments. They are not accounts. So you can have a Roth IRA, you can have a Roth 401k, and all of my accounts. I really love the Roth just because you pay taxes now, and then you never pay taxes on the contributions or the earnings ever. And so it's taxed at withdraw. Sorry, it's taxed now, and then it's tax free forever. And traditional, you can have a traditional IRA or traditional 401k, or if you're in the military or if you're in the government, it's a TSP, thrift savings plan. Or if you're a teacher, it's a 403b. They're all the same thing. They're employer accounts, employer retirement accounts. And the traditional was what came first and what most people know. So you get a tax reduction this year in the amount that you contribute. It's taxed when you retire. So anything you pull out of a traditional 401k, traditional IRA, that's taxed when you pull it out in retirement. And there's no limit to the taxes that can be, the government may raise taxes in the future. Well, they almost certainly will, I think, because of our debt and stuff, and they're overspending and whatnot. But you can get around that just by paying your taxes now, putting the money into a Roth, and then it's tax free forever. So let me talk to you a little more about why I love the Roth, right? So I told you, you pay taxes once, never again. Both the growth and the withdrawals are completely tax-free. I personally prefer these. Once the taxes are paid, you'll never owe another cent, no matter how large it grows. Here's a famous example. So Peter Thiel, you may have heard of him. He's the co-founder of PayPal. In the late 90s, he placed about $1,700 of PayPal stock in his Roth IRA before the IPO. And then years later, it turned into $5 billion. And because it was in the Roth IRA, it's completely tax free. So that ought to piss off some people who are upset about billionaires having too much, right? They don't pay any taxes on that. It's completely legal, right? So the strategies that millionaires and billionaires use, you can use too. So I would highly encourage you to open up a Roth IRA, contribute to your 401k. And if you make hundreds of thousands of dollars, the traditional might be better for you because you're saving on some taxes now, and you might have less taxes in retirement. So if you have high income now, then yeah, go for the traditional. But most of us have lower income, less than 20% tax bracket. Go for the Roth, right? And I've never paid, I've always been in the low tax bracket, so I always do the Roth. Um, yeah, so here are the key takeaways. Entrepreneurs and early retirees often skip retirement accounts, but they shouldn't. You should always max out tax advantaged accounts first. Early access is possible with the right strategies. You have the rule of 55 if you leave your job at 55, the SEPP, the SEPP, the Roth IRA contributions, and the Roth conversion ladder, right? And the Roth conversion ladder is the most flexible, powerful way to retire early, tax efficiently, and penalty free. Thank you, everybody.